What?
I love that that John Williams score to it. That little tinny. Da, 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 da,
Oh yeah,
da, da.
that's a trademark tune.
Yeah, but I love how when you hear it in the first film, it's like, oh wow, it sounds kind of creepy, but it's very childish, very cool, and very light. And then you hear that same exact score on that trailer today, and it's just like
something
that was
wicked.
a horror
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, you
yeah,
expect
something
fucking,
wicked this way comes.
Yeah,
oh
you
my
expecting
god!
a fucking ventriloquist dummy to come walking out the shadows. What's
If
up,
you have
motherfucker?
If you have not seen the trailer for this, I'm pretty sure it was online. I'm sure that's the one they threw online.
And I saw it. Well, the reason why it's interesting you bring it up because I saw it last night when I went to go see The Dark Knight. It's no, these movies, man. They've gotten they have grown with this character, and I haven't seen a series that has done that. And I love these movies. I don't watch them over and over again. I see them once. I can't even remember some of them, but that's only because I see these so many movies. And I think if you really want to say, I mean, what are we up to? 6 movies now?
Yeah, this is going to be the 6th.
6 is going. Yeah, I mean, if this one is done well, you have 6 movies of quality. Yeah. And that's a pretty incredible feat considering that some people can't even make fucking 3. So, man, and are they still talking about Guillermo del Toro doing the last one in 2 parts? I doubt if that will happen now.
I know that last I heard they're still talking about 2 parts, but not Guillermo del Toro. I mean, his name gets thrown around for everything now, but no, he's doing The Hobbit, and he's locked up. And he is locked up into The Hobbit for quite some time. And then after that, he'll probably come back to do another Hellboy movie. If he doesn't do his Saturn's End movie, which is just sounding all sorts of awesome. So we'll see what happens, but
this is
he's not doing those films. No fucking way. There's no.
Well, I know
chance.
he's not. I was just asking if that was still being thrown around because there's
you know
no
what?
way.
I hope they do. The big problem that they have is I know that what they're sitting. I know they probably want to do it because it's like, let's see, do we want $1 billion or $2 billion? What they're probably saying is, dude, we kind of sign these kids to 7-picture deals and have them locked in at a shitty amount of money for that.
I heard that last book is so huge though that they have to.
Yeah, so they may have to like seriously cough up because it's like Daniel Radcliffe could say, "I want $100 million," and they'll laugh and then they'll go, "Okay, here you go. We can't shoot a Harry Potter movie without Harry Potter."
Well, can't they do this? Can't they say we're shooting one movie? And you're under contract for this one movie, but we're going to break it up in 2 parts.
No, because if it gets released as 2 movies, it was 2 films. This is where was it Warner Brothers? I forget which studio. I want to say it's Warner. No, it was Universal. Universal got done that years ago when they used footage of Crispin Glover in Back to the Future 2.
Yeah.
And Crispin Glover sued them because he wasn't paid for that movie.
Yeah.
And so they're like, well, we have the footage for the... No. Took him to court, won.
And that's why you don't see him in the movie. In Crispin Glover in part 2, you don't really see him. There's a guy floating around upside down. And it's
they
weird.
used footage of him for the release. And I think, I haven't watched the sequel in the longest time.
It's not a very good sequel.
I've seen the first one, a million times, but the second one I haven't watched.
You ain't missing
I haven't watched it anytime recently, so I don't know if they excised that or if he just got paid and they left it in there.
Speaking of movies coming out next week, I'm sure you've heard of this. I'm going to tell people about this because I think I
haven't heard of anything.
Let me see. Because I have my thoughts about this.
Thoughts about what? Come on, tell us.
This whole thing about mentally.
Oh God! The fucking
groups that advocate the disabled called Sunday for a national boycott of the Ben Stiller movie Tropic Thunder, citing that they say that it is negative. It gets negative portrayals of people with intellectual disabilities, and I also don't like the use of the word retard over and over again.
And they are being retarded. Okay, I cannot imagine a worse target for this. This is a film that Tropic Thunder, in it, what they're complaining about is Ben Stiller's character. God, I forget the name of his character. Jack.
Simple Jack.
Well, no. But the name of his actual. What's the name of the guy? Anyhow, Ben Stiller's
the actor in the movie?
The actor.
I mean, it's Ben Stiller.
Yeah, Ben Stiller's, he plays an actor who is an action star, and he's in all these really terrible action movies. And so he tries to branch out and makes a movie called Simple Jack. And it's unspeakably awful. It's panned. It's held as one of the worst movies ever made. Not just the worst of the year, worst ever made. It's awful. They show a few scenes from the film, and then it plays in later in the movie. And he is having a conversation with with Robert Downey Jr.'s character. And Robert Downey Jr. just comes out and gives the best monologue of the film, in which he just kind of says, well, yeah, you okay, I'm not going to ruin that.
Yeah, I was about to say,
I'm not going to ruin, because it really is, that is like the best.
But let's just say
that
they use the word retard over and over again.
And he's essentially talking about
playing
the
a
various
retarded
people
person,
in history who have played mentally handicapped.
Basically, if you
people.
go too far, then you don't get an Oscar. If you
play what he calls full retard, you went full retard, and that's what they're having a problem with. And the thing is they're not making fun of the mentally handicapped. They're making fun of actors who play the mentally handicapped. They're making fun of the system and the type of mentally handicapped that we as audiences want to watch on screen. And that's what the whole joke is about.
All the actors in this movie, the actors in the film that the real actors play, all the characters in the movie, let me just say, they're all idiots. I mean, that's the whole gist of the movie. They're all put in this situation, and they have no idea. They're clueless to the fact that they are in they're all clueless to the fact that they are in a real situation. What's his name?
Jay Birch.
Yeah, the guy Judd Apatow, veterans. They're pretty much put in this situation like, yeah, we're going to stay in character while they're being shot at, while they're being attempts on their lives, and so yeah, I mean it is actors in the movie being idiots. Yeah, and I think that there's a sensitivity level there that people are acting upon maybe too strongly. At the same time, though, I understand where it's coming from. It's people. It's just now beginning to. You grow into certain words, and we're seeing as people become. What's that?
You continue. I'm going to grab a beer from the fridge.
Oh, you don't want the cow beer right here?
No, I don't want the cow beer. I'm going to have myself a Corona.
Man, so many cows have died for this beer, and you don't want any? I'd be goddamn. No, there's certain people who becoming part of mainstream society. I would look at them differently. And gay people are one, and we use the word fag a little loosely, I think. And we're just now beginning to see that that's kind of sensitive, being that they're represented a little bit more. And I think people are using the word retard a little loosely. And I understand where they're being kind of nervous about that, because people do it everywhere. And I think that there's getting to a point where people are saying, yeah, it is kind of a hurtful word. And I think they're kind of sensitive to the fact that society as a whole has not come to grips that there's a certain amount of people that are actually offended by that word.
And you know what I would have to say about anybody who believes that?
What, you're retarded?
No,
you're
that they're a moron.
Well, I mean, that's the difference between you and me, I guess. I can kind of see.
See, you missed the irony in the statement. Moron, it used to be a medical term to describe a certain IQ level. Moron and idiot are two words that used to be medical terms that slipped into casual use to describe someone who was just being stupid. The same way retarded did. We don't use the word retarded anymore to describe people who are mentally handicapped. They're mentally handicapped. We don't say, oh, be careful with him, he's retarded. Retarded isn't that kind of a word anymore. That's slipped out of typical usage and is considered an offensive word, which is how we use it. We use it as a swear. We use it, as, dude, you're being retarded. We don't, mentally handicapped is the word we choose to use now. And I don't find any problem with the word retarded, because retarded is just the new moron. It's just the new idiot. It is that word that used to be a medical word, isn't anymore, and we just use casually.
Now, by that same token, I would say that certain words, the way they evolve, some of them can be looked at as that's just become common slang, and some of them still hold on. I always have to go back to the old, this is the old standby, the word nigger, which back in time it was used to describe people from a certain part of Africa, mainly Nigeria, and people just used to say nigger. That's what they're from. And if you look in the dictionary, some dictionaries describe a nigger as an ignorant person. However, we still use that as a sensitive word, and it is very sensitive for certain people.
But the problem is that you've brought up the one word in the English language which has a number of different problems with it. Because, yeah, it has a history that a certain segment of the population hold on to as being this hurtful, hateful word. But then, by the same token, we have another portion of society that uses that word as everyday parlance. That, you hear that word constantly, and that word gets used in friendly, jovial manners. and we have such a weird. It's a word that has a weird.
I will say
personality
this.
quirk to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm
Whereas
just
retarded doesn't. Retarded is just just a slang. I get email every once in a blue moon from people who are like, "Hey, look, my son is that word would apply to my son, and he reads your site, and we don't appreciate that you use the word." And it's like, well, you know what? You're a moron.
Hey,
Have you ever used the word moron? Because you know what? Odds are your son's a moron.
But then they go back and say, "Have you ever called anybody a nigger?" Too. I mean, it's at that point right now. We could go any number of ways. I mean, if it continues to be a word, and they're mostly talking about the word retard, and retard is a word that is mostly applied to the mentally handicapped. I mean, we use it freely, but it's really a slang for a mentally handicapped person. And if that word continues to be used as something where we use it to laugh at people and poke fun of them, then yeah, I could see why people could be sensitive. I mean, if it evolves into something that is slang and people ease off, I mean, that could happen also. It could be, like you said, it could be like idiot or anything.
Words evolve. Words have always evolved. You look at the fact, like when we were kids, you couldn't say the words bitch, ass, or hell on television or the radio. Now you could say those in public and in front of kids and people don't wince.
Yeah, but they're used not to describe a person's intelligence or a person in a derogatory term.
But nobody uses the word retarded in reference to the mentally handicapped anymore. It's a word that has been separated off and has spun off and has its own life
like I
elsewhere.
said, it's mostly retard. In this movie, they are using it to describe a mentally ill person. So I'm just saying, I'm not totally callous. I think they are being a little bit too sensitive because, as I said, these are characters in the movie. However, I can understand the roots of that sensitivity.
I also get offended by anybody who calls a boycott for a bullshit reason. I think, we've gotten to the point to where we threaten boycotts, and this is why regular political action doesn't work anymore, because it gets used for such senseless things as, I demand that you boycott this movie because they use the word wait, you're boycotting freedom of speech? Really? It's not like they're it's a rated R comedy. It's only for adults. It's not something that they're taking out to the kids. It's not something they're forcing down the throats of 8-year-olds. This is a rated R comedy, and
I mean, I don't mind them calling a boycott. The only thing is it ain't going to work. I mean, boycotts do not work these days.
No.
I think there's another way to go around it.
Because it's being done for shit like this.
Yeah, I mean, there's other ways that you can bring attention to this issue if you want to. Telling people to boycott this movie, because people are not. I would tell you what, if I felt like it actually would work, I'd be like, fine, knock yourself out, do your best. Everybody's going to go see this movie. Nobody's going to not go see Tropic Thunder because of this one group right here. Why the fuck do they think they're doing that?
Why does this group make fun, target this movie and hasn't targeted the number of films where we actually have people playing mentally handicapped characters in bad lights being done for comedy?
Well, that's another problem with this kind of this issue, that they target on something that they see. Meanwhile, there's a lot of stuff that's going on, because I see this going on all the time with video games. People wait for that one thing to pop up that gets exposed or gets brought up in the news when it's been going on the whole time.
Yeah.
So there's other ways to handle this issue. I don't think this is the best way. People are going to go see Tropic Thunder. I'm telling you right now, listen to me. I'm telling you, whoever the association, we don't like the word retard or whatever, you're not going to accomplish anything by doing this. That's life.
The only thing they're accomplishing is they're getting, beaten about the head by, people online and by pundits, because they don't really have a solid leg to stand on.
Well, online, I mean, shit, the internet is full of fucking cowards, man. It's easy to beat up somebody over the internet. Of course, if anybody wants...
I'm actually talking about major pundits are going after them on this. I mean, this issue just broke, and people are going after them. I'm not talking about, Slacker 17 says,
And even over the internet, I'm like, approach them, go and meet them, talk to them. I mean, somebody does...
Why? These guys are being douchebags.
I don't know if they're being douchebags, man. I mean, they're doing something they believe in. They're not douchebags for that.
What they believe in is horseshit.
Yeah, that's you. They think, they probably would say, I think Carlisle is a douchbag.
And you know what?
And a retard.
They are totally allowed to.
And that's what I'm saying.
They're
that's
the
point.
ones that are looking like an idiot right now.
That is my point, that there's two sides to everything. And with me not knowing who they are or hearing their argument, I'm not going to come out and say, these guys are full of shit. I mean, they might have a valid point without me hearing that. My point is, you might as well forget this boycott shit. It ain't gonna work. It ain't like fucking the marches back with Martin Luther King and shit. This shit ain't happening, all right? So I'm gonna go see Tropic Thunder probably again and put money into it. So this shit ain't working, and I'm sensitive to your issue.
See, and there you just talked about the movie.
I know. I was gonna slip at some point. It's
a damn fine film.
No, you know what? It is. It's good.
It's funny as hell.
No, it's a decent movie.
You know what? You're allowed to speak about it. We're talking positive.
Oh, I'm not doing that because of any kind of embargo or anything. I just like holding out until the review.
Well, you can hold out, but you know what? There are people listening who say, "Oh wow, okay, hey, yeah, it's great."
No, we got a review coming up next week. I just don't. I just don't want.
We, white man.
I mean, we.
I mean, we.
I mean,
you and the mouse in your pocket.
We as in we and
We
the
as
rest
in
of the
everyone
people
that
that
was
were there.
invited over, yeah.
We as in everyone except you. But there is a we involved in this, and not a Nintendo we. Is
They're
we
just
is
not in the room.
It was me, Leon, and Cyrus. That we, white man. So
that was mighty whitey, Corey.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Howdy doody, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
Since we had to make it race.
Oh, I know.
Let's get into the depressing segment of it.
I know. Our black men are dying.
God.
Our black men are dying.
And it's surprised people. It's like, it's not like Bill Cosby died. It's like, oh man, Bill died.
No,
like 10 years too
let's
late.
just say who it is. It's Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac. Well, everybody knows Bernie Mac, and then Isaac Hayes.
And Isaac Hayes.
Oh my God. I mean, Isaac Hayes, he was 65. That's like, all right, the brother was 65. What are you going to do?
I mean, even by today, it's like, okay, complications come in around 65, but we don't expect anybody to just drop dead.
No,
especially, now this is what I heard. I didn't have a chance to read up on this. Leon told me that brother was about to get on his treadmill, and they found him next to his treadmill dead.
I don't know. All I know is that I read that they found him unconscious in his home and he passed away. Police are investigating, but they don't think foul play is involved.
So I don't think the Scientologist came in or anything like that.
I don't think the Scientologist would have killed him.
I mean, maybe he was about to talk. Maybe he said, fuck this shit, and they came in. I don't know. I mean, I'm making jokes, but yeah, it really did take me by surprise. I mean, and both of these things I found out when I woke up in the morning. I wake up on Saturday morning and I see all these posts on the site about Bernie Mac. I'm like, what the fuck did Bernie Mac do? Did he do something to a Barack Obama again? Did he make a crazy
found this
joke
out this morning?
No, yesterday morning.
Oh yeah.
And then I found out that, he's dead. I'm like, I go to the front page. I'm like, he did die, and died at age 50. Now that's young by today's standards.
Yeah.
And what people feel so sad about is that his career didn't really take off until he was in his 40s.
Right.
And they said that they expected him to go on to be sort of a semi-legendary comedian.
There was a lot of heat on Mr. 3001. I mean, everybody was looking forward to seeing that movie. And
are you serious? I was about to say,
of course,
man,
I'm not fucking.
I was about
serious,
to say,
dude.
now that's retarded right there. But he was just at this point beginning to make some movies that people consider to be high profile. I mean, him to be concluded.
Well, he's been doing it for the last 7 years.
Well,
actually.
him be included with this new Rat Pack we have with the Ocean's 11 people and everything. Yeah. I mean, he was a major celebrity now.
No, he just hit. He was that, and the thing is what was so great about what?
I'm just laughing about that Mr. 3001.
Mr. 3001.
And see, normally I would say no way, but today you just never know, man. You can not tell.
I was totally kidding. No, it was weird because what was great about Bernie Mac is that he became famous and he hit that level of fame that was just like that super level of comedian fame without actually becoming the white friendly comedian. He never Sinbaded up he stayed. His act did not change. I mean, hell, he just caught flack for it 2 weeks ago.
At the Barack Obama
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of great jokes about the Democratic Party doing him in. But no, the thing is he always stayed true to who he was. He always did the same act.
He became a household name. I mean, he had a TV show. And it's in syndication.
Was a good TV show.
Yeah, no, it was. And he became, look, I have nothing against Bill Cosby except that he got busted on doing some foul shit when he was kind of talking shit about everybody else. But, you didn't hear about Bill Cosby raping somebody?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, he just came out. Bill Cosby just touched someone, and this is years ago, and it's just now coming out. No, I'm fucking lying, man. Wouldn't that be horrifying though to be molested by Bill Cosby though? Bill Cosby, like,
Well, you see, I'm about to put my schism into your scasmopsies.
yeah. See, that's the thing. He's coming at you. He's making those faces that you thought were cute before, but horrifying now. Nah, He like,
now you're going to taste the Jello pudding pop.
as Leon said,
Drink Coke.
that man hasn't had a Jello pudding pop in years, and people still give him shit about that. No, people are giving.
He did it in our childhood.
I
That's
guess
why.
Bill Cosby was catching flack because he came out and talked stuff against, talked about how black people messed up with, and I kind of agree with him on how we need to look at our own selves, but then he got kind of busted on extramarital affairs and all that kind of thing. So a lot of people like kind of saying,
back to Bernie Mac.
But the thing with Bill Cosby, and the reason why I'm doing this is because Bill Cosby did the Cosby Show, and everybody accused him of being, oh well, he's so white and suburban. I thought that was a ridiculous argument, but whatever. But Bernie Mac stayed to what people consider to be black, and he did a family show.
Well, no, and he had a particularly great angle. He had this thing. He had this life experience that he drew from of having been done with the kids, being in his 40s and like, great, we got rid of the kids. I can totally go off and focus on my career now, have a great life, yada, yada. Bam, he's taking care of kids again.
Yeah.
And this provided this whole kind of second life that he had to start all over again, gave him a whole host of new material, and he had this great crotchety old man dad routine that was just fucking hilarious.
Let me tell you something about Bernie Mac, man.
Tell me something about Bernie Mac.
Being that I knew Bernie Mac personally, and I sat down and had some beers with him. In fact, he was coming in next week for a cold ones, and I'm sorry that he's gone now because he can't do it.
Yeah, I know. I was really looking forward to having a real co-host.
No, I'm still going to be here. And me and the co-host are going to be here.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, he was. I've seen him in several interviews, and you can tell his personality is what he brought into everything he did, and he was real. I mean, he was able to stay who he was, and also bring that into his comedy and to the characters that he played. And when you see him in his interviews, you see that he still remained a really down-to-earth person. Never forgot where he came from. He always said that. And I think that's what people really love Bernie Mac for. I know that's why I thought he was a great comedian.
I dug the hell out of him. Plus, he was the funniest of the kings of comedy. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know how many times I've watched that disc, but he was always the best part of that.
Yeah, no, that's what everyone said. He closed it out, and everyone said Bernie Mac, that is the guy. He's the funniest one on there. And honestly, man, I was always looking forward to seeing Bernie Mac in person at some point, like doing it at a show, like at a live show or something that he did. Because God knows I've seen D.L. Hughley enough times, but I've seen D.L. Hughley. Man, let me tell you something. I paid to see D.L. Hughley, he was funny. Yeah, he was actually funny. No, very funny guy. And then I turned around and won tickets that same weekend and went back again. So I was like, God damn, D.L. Hughley enough.
He's
one weekend is enough.
Stage going, that brother ain't here for the jokes.
You must be here for the wings or something. No, he was a funny guy, but I was like,
no, not the wings. I was thinking more about the thighs.
Wings and thighs, man.
Being slow today, man.
Wings and thighs, but how was I supposed to fucking get that? Thighs and thighs. What? That is not an obvious joke.
No, the obvious joke was you ain't here for the jokes. Never. I don't want to explain it.
Yeah.
There are other people laughing.
Obviously, there are no kings of comedy in this room. This is some fucking court jesters, but
gets him at least.
It's not something that tell him either. But regardless, I think that I'm looking at all those guys, and I was like, this is the one guy that I would actually like to see on stage, live in person, and even just meet one day because he was such an interesting interview. Now, moving on to Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes, man. And the thing is, and what I feel really bad about is the last thing that Isaac Hayes was involved with was all that shit on South Park.
Exactly.
In fact, I saw a story that linked to Chef's death at the end of that episode. What a way to say goodbye to a friend, is to have him catch on fire, fall, get broken on some rocks, then have wild animals come and tear him apart while you're getting shot, and then shits himself to death.
By the way, this is what happened to Chef on South Park. This is not what happened to Isaac Hayes, in case some people are thinking that.
As far as we know.
Yeah, exactly. We heard he fell on a treadmill. I mean, for all we know, some animals could have broke in and eaten him while he was lying there. But no, and you're right about that. Isaac Hayes, Bernie Mac, is someone that we took for granted because he was so good and he was visible, and we like say, oh, he's gonna be around for a long time. Isaac Hayes is someone that kind of disappeared for a little bit and became the butt of some jokes. The Scientology angle, the whole thing on South Park, and now he's gone, and we're like, damn, we really didn't appreciate Isaac Hayes these last few years for what he was worth. And I'm looking at some of his movies, man. Have you ever seen Truck Turner?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You tell him you got hit by a truck.
Truck Turner. And
That movie is not good.
no, it's terrible, man.
But it's awesome.
But
in,
no, yeah.
in the fact that it's not good. If you've never seen an Isaac Hayes movie, you owe it to yourself to watch the historic badness and awesomeness of Truck Turner.
But I tell you something, though. Isaac Hayes is one of those guys who, as he went on in life, because he started out as a badass. Like musically, I mean, this guy fucked all kind of women. I mean, he would come on stage wearing chains. Like, not gold chains, but like chains that you would haul something down the street with across his body. And people said, that's fashion. And he would come on with wings on his back or something. Have you ever seen Watch Stacks?
Yeah.
That he was the one everybody wanted to see, Isaac Hayes. And if you ever listen to Isaac Hayes' music, this guy is a genius musician.
Who is the man who would risk his
of
neck
course.
for his brother, man?
Chef.
Can you dig it?
No, Shaft.
He's a complicated man, and no one understands him but his woman. John Shaft.
Yeah. And how did that go? I'm just talking about Shaft.
You
He's a
shut
bad
your
mother.
Yeah, he's a
You
bad
shut your
mother. You
mouth.
shut your mouth. Just talking about
Isaac
Shaft.
Hayes.
We can dig it.
Yeah. And man,
That's what sold it was the we can dig it.
see, you don't realize the legendary stuff that he did. A lot of people they recognize his riff, but don't even know that he did it. And that he did a remake of "Walk On By," and it listened to it. Bow, 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 walk on. And that song has been sampled for so many times, and it's a popular riff. A lot of people are surprised. That's Isaac Hayes. And
Oh, dude, rap has been sampling the shit out of him for 20 years.
well, that's what I'm saying. Public Enemy, man. They
hell
did
yeah.
a really famous song that of his that took a riff from, I think, Walk On By. And yeah, and later on in life, he had such a sense of humor. Became an actor. Became a
Suck on my chocolate salted balls.
Oh man, what you
Stick them in your mouth and suck them.
Let's do a little. That's another chef thing right there.
Yeah.
Forget South Park. Let's go back and look at some of the things that he did. We mentioned like Truck Turner. Go and watch I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, where he just had a real sense of humor about that whole blaxploitation, black hero thing. Yeah. I mean, the guy's just very underrated still, I think. And now that he's gone, I think I'm going to appreciate him for what he really is. And like I said, I'm just sorry. I myself, I am sorry that I didn't, because I like Isaac Hayes. I'm a fan. I listen to his shit all the time in my car, and I'm sorry that I didn't appreciate him for what he was worth these last few years. Because I made fun of him for being a Scientologist.
Oh, see, I've always loved Isaac Hayes, man. He's just fucking incredible. I was so happy to see. God, what was it? Was it the year 2000 when they did the whole big throwback of all the various Oscar-winning songs from the. It's one of the most memorable Oscar moments in the last 10 years. They're doing a whole series of the most memorable Oscar-winning songs of all time. And then just